Okay, good morning students. Last class we are doing nervous system, and nervous system is divided into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Last class we did central nervous system, and today we'll do the peripheral nervous system and the structure of an eye. Peripheral nervous system consists of 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Peripheral nervous system consists of two divisions: A. Somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Somatic nervous system, it conveys information to the skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscle means the muscles which are attached to the bones. Autonomic nervous system includes nerve which control the involuntary actions of internal organs like heart and glands. Now the structure of an eye. Location of eye in front of the head in a socket or orbit. This eye is attached to 6 sets of muscles, contraction of which helps the eye to rotate in different directions. The eye is provided with upper and lower eyelid, which gives protection to the exposed portion of the eyeball. Next, tear glands. These glands are situated on the upper side of the orbit, whose secretion are called tear. Tear gland is also called lacrimal gland. The tears helps to lubricate the eye, and it helps to remove the dust particles. Now, structure of an eye. Here is the simple diagram of an eye. It consists of 3 layers. The outermost layer is called sclera, which is white, opaque. It gives protection to the inner parts of the eyeball and prevents the entry of the light because it is opaque. Just lying below the sclera you find choroid, which is black in color and provided with blood capillaries. Therefore, it provides nourishment to the eyeball. In front of the lens and behind the cornea, the choroid is differentiated to form a circular patch of muscle called iris. These muscles contract and relax, thus it helps to increase or decrease the size of the pupil. Pupil is a small hole in front of the eye through which the light enters the eyeball. Iris here is shown like a stick because this one is a longitudinal section, and if you see a friend's eye from the front, you see a circular patch of muscle, maybe blue in color, black, brown. That is the iris, because this, if you see the whole part here, it looks like a circle. If I show you the side view, it looks like a stick. So this iris helps to control the amount of light that enters the eyeball. Next, just behind the iris, the choroid is differentiated to find a structure called ciliary body. It contains special muscles called ciliary muscles, and this ciliary muscles is attached to the lens with the suspensory ligaments. Now, this ciliary muscle, by contraction and relaxation, helps to thickening or thinning of the lens. Thus, it makes the image to fall on the fovea. Now the innermost layer of the eyeball is the retina, which is the light sensitive layer. It consists of rod cells and cone cells. Rod cells are towards the periphery and they are concerned with dim light vision, and cones are concentrated in the fovea. Fovea is the point on the retina on the principal axis of the lens where you find the cone cells, and this region is meant for clear vision and color, bright light vision and color vision. The image is formed on the fovea. The image is real, inverted and diminished. Now, blind spot. Blind spot is the portion on the retina where the optic nerve leaves the eyeball. In this region, it's devoid of rod cells and cone cells, therefore no image is formed, therefore it is called blind spot. Optic nerve, remember the nerve which is only made up of sensory neuron are optic nerve and auditory nerve. This nerve carries impulse from the eye to the brain, and certain part of the brain interprets and which results in the sight. Now, in front of the lens and behind the cornea, there is a fluid called aqueous humor. It helps in the refraction of light. And behind the lens, there is a cavity which is filled with a jelly-like fluid called vitreous humor. It helps in the refraction of light and provides shape to the eyeball. So these are the different parts of the eye which you should know. You must know the parts and the function. And now two more terms concerned with the eye. Power of accommodation. The ability of an eye to adjust itself for nearby and distant object clearly is called power of accommodation. The second next term, binocular vision or stereoscopic vision. It is the ability of the eye to get the clear distance and depth of an object. This binocular visions are very sharp in the eagle, etc., because from great height they don't miss their prey, because they can judge the distance and the depth. So learn parts, functions of an eye. Most probably you'll get the diagram of an eye, parts numbered 1 to 3, they'll ask you to name, and one function each. So I hope you are clear. Now the defect of eye. The two main defects are myopia, short-sightedness, or hypermetropia, long-sightedness. So let us deal with the myopia, short-sightedness. This is a person who can see clearly nearby object but not distant object. Now this happens when lens become permanently thick, so the converging power becomes more, so the rays of light meet in front of the fovea, so a hazy image is formed on the fovea. Now how to correct this? The reason for the defect first. The lens becomes permanently thick, so the converging power becomes more. The eyeball becomes longer from front to back. Now how to identify a short myopia from hypermetropia from the diagram? In myopia, the rays of light meet before the fovea. And if you see in hypermetropia, the rays of light meet beyond the fovea. So this will help you to identify the two defects. Now how to correct the defects? Now this rays of light needs little diversion so that they can fall on the fovea. As you have learned in physics, there are two types of lens, convex and concave lens. Concave lens helps to diverse the light. So here in this case, you require little divergence of this rays. So when the rays passes, so we correct this defect by using concave lens. Concave lens will diverse the rays, and the convex lens of the eye will make it converge on the fovea. So which you have to get the suitable power of the lens. Now when you draw this defect, because they'll ask you to identify, draw the defect and correction, lens used. Now when you draw this diagram of the eye defects, you must show the rays of light with the arrows. Otherwise you won't get marks. Here in concave lens will diverse the rays of light. You must show this divergent, because most of the students, they draw parallel and they make it meet here. That is wrong. You won't get marks. So now once again I tell you to identify the short-sightedness, you look for the rays. If the rays meet before the fovea, that is myopia. And if the rays of light meet beyond, that is hypermetropia. But in a normal eye, by thinning of the lens, it helps to rays of light to fall on the fovea, which is the reason of distinct vision. And mainly here you find corneas which are sensitive to color and light vision. Now next, hypermetropia, long-sightedness. This defect is due to the permanent thinning of the lens. When lens becomes thin, its converging power becomes less. Converging power of the lens becomes less. So they appear to meet behind the fovea. So in this case also a hazy image is formed. Now the defect, the lens becomes permanently thin and the eyeball becomes shorter. Now how to correct this defect? By using convex lens. Convex lens help to converge the rays of light. The rays parallel to the lens, this lens will converge, and the lens of the eye, which is convex, will further converge to make it meet on the fovea. So here are the two corrections. Be careful, because most of the students, you get puzzled with the short-sightedness and long-sighted when you get the diagrams. So be careful with the defects of the eye. Now, the two other defects of eye are cataract. Cataract is the loss of sight because of the lens become opaque. It gets covered by a thin membrane, and this defect can be cured by surgically removing the lens, and this disease is an old age disease. The next, astigmatism, a blurred, B-L-U-R-R-E-D, hazy image is produced due to irregularities in the curvature of the cornea. So now, once again, learn the terms, function, parts. That is enough for the structure of an eye. So next class we'll do about the ear.